So what kind of things do you do with a dog to get them to sit on a chair when there's all this going on? And, you know, I mean, she's paying attention to the cameras and which one do I look at now? And, I mean, you know, obviously it takes a lot of time and effort on your part to practice all the time, because that's important. But when she first walked in, what did you do with her?
At the beginning of the training? I think there's definitely a lot of, there are a few different things that come into play, and I actually did bring my trainer toolbox.
We want to see
would
that.
like to see that.
You bet.
We'd like to see things like that.
I know. It is an actual toolbox. It goes along with my analogy very well. So there are things that come into play, such as body language. Dogs respond to body language. That's how they speak to each other in many cases. So it's what can we do with our bodies to help get our point across. I always tell people use the leash as little as possible, because you don't want to then have to use the leash for the rest of your life, your dog's life. So use the leash as little as possible, even when they're puppies, so that you can get rid of the leash and your dog will still listen to you. So there's a lot of body language. There's a lot of practice, of course, and, you know, some tools come into play. So what do I have in my toolbox? Similar to if you were dealing with a contractor, you know, you don't want a contractor who only has one tool. He only uses a hammer and that's it. So he might get part of the job done, but it might not look very pretty. He probably can't do the whole job. So, of course, we have a regular flat buckle collar. Some people prefer harnesses, you know. There is the chain collar, which is a tool. If it's used properly, it can work. The treats.
Uh-oh.
I know. I was looking to see if Sophie would recognize the treat bag there. There is nothing wrong with using treats. They can have a very good place in your training program. What I want to avoid at all times is I want to avoid a dog who will only do what you ask if there is a treat in your hand. That is a recipe for disaster, because what if your dog is chasing a squirrel and the squirrel runs across the street? What's more interesting, the treat in my hand or to chase the squirrel? And at that point, it could be life or death, literally.
Exactly.
But treats do have their place. Of course, there's a leash there. The gentle leader, which is very popular. I see a lot of dogs with this now. It is a training tool. I consider it, let me see if I can figure out how this is the type of thing here that goes over the dog's nose. Have you seen those on dogs before?
Yes.
I have, yes.
Yeah, so it goes over their nose, and it goes behind their head, and then you attach the leash down here, kind of like a halter for a horse. It has its place. I consider it more of a management tool. And the reason that I say that is because the dog sometimes will stop pulling when this is on their face, but the moment that you take it off, they go back to being crazy. So, but it can manage some behaviors. There is a place for it. Of course, we also have the pinch collar. It looks like a medieval torture device, but it's not if it's used properly. It is a way to get the dog's attention. All right? Never ever should you allow a dog to strangle themselves on either this or the chain. Okay? And that's where, honestly, having a professional trainer really does come in handy, because if you don't use it properly, you could be harming the dog. Oh, here's another treat. It's a licky stick.
Oh my!
I know, the dog licks it. They love it. Smell it.
It's only like what, 1 or 3 calories or something in it per lick.
It doesn't attract me.
I'm glad.
It's very odoriferous, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is.
All right. And then here is my preferred tool. This is a tool that we use with Miss Sophie and that I have used with many dogs. Gosh, probably about 300 at this point, right here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So this is called the remote collar. It is not the shock collar of old days. Okay? When we hear remote collar, sometimes people are thinking, oh, my dog is going to fall down on the floor and twitch like it's been in the electric chair, something horrible like that. Again, it's a tool, and if you know how to use it properly, that's the whole thing. Okay? John, I'm going to have you feel this. Have you ever felt one before?
No.
All right, so just hold your hand out.
Okay.
And then just hold on to it like that. Okay. This particular collar, now I'm pushing it right now. Do you feel anything?
Yeah, I feel something a little creepy.
Creepy.
It does.
I don't believe you. Now, do you feel this?
Oh, yes.
That is just a pager. So that's like a vibrate. Okay. So you do feel something right there?
Yeah, a little bit.
How would you describe it to everybody at home?
Oh, I don't know. It's not a vibrate. It's a sensation.
It's hard to describe it.
It really is. It's a sensation. It's not a shock.